Big release on one of the big brands that ship bikes into the United States is actually going to be increasing their tariffs. They actually have a percentage as well as a timeline for this. Let's review this brand and how it's going to affect retailers, customers, and even the company itself after this. Hey, welcome back to Another Guy Bicycles, hanging with a guy, and yes, hold on to your hats because this is just the beginning of the many things that are going to be happening within the cycling industry, which we've already been enduring a whole bunch of weird, weirdness for the last 2 to 3 years, and it has come in very untimely for us to actually keep a positive light going forward. Well, what I mean by that is we're actually really struggling with the big brands between prices, quantities, the market slowing down. People are not looking for those brand new bikes. They're all, also the economy insecurities as well. So going into this spring and summer, it's going to be very challenging for a lot of these companies to actually navigate around and actually keep healthy or at least survive what's going to come down the pipeline. Well, yes, we're going to talk about the big specialized elephant in the room. Regardless of how you feel about the company, either good, bad, otherwise, there's a lot of opinion of that. That's not here for this. We're just going to be talking about what the tariffs are going to affect and what they're actually going to be translated to the consumer. Well, before that, let me talk about what happened at the last show I was at CABDA West in Las Vegas. Basically, being at that show, a lot of the brands were, well, had a good face. They're really trying to be positive, but there's this underlining doom and gloom kind of undertone, like somebody died, but we don't know who yet. Yeah, it's a very bad kind of sense, and they're trying to do everything they can to drum up any kind of excitement about their brand, try to generate sales, look for any opportunities going forward. It's just pretty much defense on this here on out. The tariffs are actually applying to all these companies. They're bringing in goods from overseas, or even products that they need, or even raw materials that they need to actually make the products in the United States is becoming very crippling to them. And forecasting is pretty much out the window. So they're all going to be very reserved. A lot of orders have been canceled. A lot of product is not going to be hitting the shores within the next 3 to 6 months due to the fact of these uncertain times. So when you look at particular specialized, let's take a look at that. So a memo was released from one of their upper individuals, Jesse Porter, which is a regional manager of retail stores. Not sure exactly the title is correct, but he is definitely up there. I've worked with him personally back in the day at Lee Cyclery. Very nice guy, very direct, and he may have been one of the influencers like, hey, we need to be transparent about this as much as we can. Well, all the companies that have already been affected by this have in the background increased prices to bicycle retailers, and that's from hard goods like chains, cassettes, all those things already increased by 10%. So the 10% number is kind of the starting point for a lot of these companies until they kind of see how everything flushes out. Well, Specialized followed suit in that aspect and actually gave it a hard date. May 1st is the actually deadline for all those retail prices are going to go up pretty much across the board. So they notified their stores, their locations, and independent bike dealers they still sell to, and you'll see these prices directly change on their website, direct to consumer as well. All those particular aspects of it is just a starting point, and it's going to flex back and forth depending what happens going forward. Specialized is owned by 35% currently by Merida, which is a manufacturer in Taiwan. Although Merida may not make all their stuff in Taiwan, they may have facilities in Vietnam and Cambodia as well, but those particular countries are going to be affected in addition to. So how those tariffs are going to affect those companies, where they're at, all that is definitely going to be a hardship for a lot of different manufacturers and brands going forward. Specialized is one of the first to actually release, this is what we're going to do, this is what is going to be expected. So what's that mean to you as a customer? Well, if you're looking for a bike, you better damn well do it before May 1st. The prices are still low. They still have a lot of things still on sale, but that inventory is definitely going to be dwindling here very shortly. Doomsday purchasing is basically the latest phrase, and I never heard of it until lately. I'm a bike mechanic. I do my thing. I have my own little shop, but when you're looking at all these big buzzwords like doom spending and doom scrolling and tariffs and all that, we're going to educate on a lot of different things that we never really damn well cared about before, but now it's directly affecting us personally. Yes, as a customer, if you're looking at anything like supplies, like extra tires, tubes, any of those particular branded from Specialized, it's definitely going to go up on May 1st. So you definitely want to get those orders in prior to get stocked up for the season. In addition to, if you are by chance in a position that you're going to be looking for a new bike, yes, this is the time to do it, because in a few weeks here we're going to be feeling a 10% increase. And if you're looking at that $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 bike, some of you still are, that is a huge dollar increase, even if it's 10%. Now, unfortunately, if you really are excited about Specialized products and you're looking for that new Evo that's coming out down the line that starts around $7,000 and goes up to 15, that is going to be affected as well. So if you're looking for that cutting edge, less technology bike, ooh, it's going to sting. So it's better to get it done early than later, because honestly, in my perspective of what I've seen in years past, being in the industry for 35 years, once those prices go up like this, most likely they will not go down unless it's a clearance sell price to blow out inventory. Well, the inventory is going to readjust to the point where less is going to be coming into the United States, and guess what? There's going to be more of a high demand on products that are going to have less inventory. So therefore, those prices are not going to come down, and it's just going to cost us more from going forward. So what's this mean for the bike shops? Well, the bike shops, they're going to have to manually change all the prices on the floor every time there is an increase or decrease. So you know they're all going to be with their big Sharpie marker going through all those prices with a big strike and go 10% more, or maybe just a flat sign that just keeps changing. What you're looking at today is actually 10% more at the register versus, you know, your typical sell price of going down. Well, the retailer that has a huge pinch. I mean, the corporate stores, yeah, there's going to be extra lift of labor of making the customer notified all of this and also changing those prices on the floor. As an independent bike dealer, that's a very big pain in the ass, because constantly you have to be changing prices. It's not digitalized like it is at Walmart, where they just flip a switch and everything changes. They actually have to physically go through every one of those products, price tags, and actually change those to be compliant with weight and measures. Weight measures, I don't think is going to be around any much longer anyway, weirdly enough. So the warm and fuzzy from the independent bike dealers, it's just like, okay, we understand, but we still hate it. It's just going to be that case. Let's take a look at other manufacturers. Other manufacturers and brands like Trek, Giant, and so forth, they all have different unique perspectives and have unique challenges with these tariffs. Some are just out of the country trying to put money, trying to put product into the country. Some have warehouses here, Canada, and so forth. Listen to Josh at Silka chime in on this. It's pretty interesting because they have warehouses in different areas strategically to kind of protect themselves in a scenario like this. This is something that just can't be flipped a switch and all of a sudden you're going to be producing stuff in the United States. As is mentioned before, it's taken years to move manufacturing out of the United States for the last 20 years. It's going to take another 15 to 20 years to move it back in. That's if we're even going to do that. And who knows? The administrations might change 8 times by then. Too much of a whiplash for anybody to make any decisions long term. Well, the other players that might be affected by this, well, a lot of the smaller companies, big time. When you're talking about a small company that's making frames in the United States, those raw materials are going to be increased in price. So it doesn't really encourage them to actually make more or just maybe stockpile that raw materials beforehand. But then again, there's not a market that's actually saying, ooh, make as many as you can and they will come and buy them. Is definitely not the case right now. The market's been cooling and slowing for the last 2.5 years, and guess what? Everybody that spent a lot of money on a high-end bike is not going to run out and buy another high-end bike anytime soon. So that particular market has kind of dwindled to some level, and in addition to not really, those big brands are not really cultivated a new cycling experience for entry level. It's been kind of a little painful situation the last couple of years, but there is a silver lining to this. The silver lining is basically the used market. I know, it sounds weird, right? We have a huge surplus of used bikes that you'll see on Facebook, Craigslist, eBay, anywhere you look at used products. That is a huge inventory that can be leveraged by bike shops or even the consumer, like, hey, I'm not going to pay that $3,000 price, which has already been the case. It's already been going on for the last couple of years. Well, now it's going to be even more so because guess what? Those used product does not have a tariff tax on top of it. So the prices are going to stay down and it's more consistent for bike shops to sell as well as consumers to buy. So it's a win-win there as well as parts. So there is going to be business going on, but it's going to be more helpful for the independent bike dealers that leverage that, increasing their actually footprint between 15 to 20 to 30% on the floor of used product versus new, because big brands like Trek, Specialized, and Giant, they don't deal with used. Well, Trek does a little bit, but anyway, that's a whole different story. But when you're talking about big brands and trying to leverage all these direct-to-line costs, units, and volume, there's really not a winning solution for them right now. So they're going to be pretty much doing everything they can to just survive. Survival mode for a lot of these companies is not sustainable for long term. So if this keeps going for within the next year after a very depressing 2.5 years for these guys and gals and companies, there's going to be a huge fail rate, or they're going to be leveraging other countries other than the United States because, you know, other countries don't have as extreme tariffs and they're being leveraged in a more appropriate manner. Not going to go there with what's right or wrong. It's just horrible. That's what's happening to us. But in any case, the companies like Trek and Specialized and Giant, they ship globally. So they are going to be definitely leveraging different markets around the world besides ours. So basically, we're that ghost ship that used to be something big, but basically we're stuck in this weird Bermuda Triangle and we can't seem to find our way out. Well, that's my insights for being a little shop guy in the garage in the middle of the United States, and we're just all hoping for the best, and basically we're cringing every time we look at anything that comes across the news cycle because it's such a whiplash and it is affecting all of us emotionally, physically, financially, everything else in between. So all you brothers and sisters out there in the United States and in the cycling world, please, you know, you're not alone. We're all trying to navigate through this, all of this together. And anybody looking outside in, please don't blame us because sure shit we didn't do it to ourselves. Well, we didn't really mean to do this to ourselves, and the consequences of it is going to be a global factor. Sorry, but please don't blame all of us, because a lot of us didn't vote for this guy. In any case, I'm sorry to be so doom and gloom. Thanks for hanging out with me in the garage. If it's nice in your neck of woods like it is here today, please go for a ride. Get your head out of it. Try to think about positive things. Love your family. Love what you do. Try to be a positive influence in your community. And again, bicycles are awesome. They're fun. They're supposed to be a great thing. And heck, we still have an opportunity of doing that such thing. In any case, I do my little bit every day, and thank you for hanging out with me in the garage. And until next time, I really hope you have a wonderful day. And those abroad, oh boy. And again, I do apologize. Sorry. And if you do have experiences or have any extra information or comments you want to add to the community, please comment below. I'll have information in the description below with more information and actually other videos from other YouTube influencers out there that may have some other insights from small shops to other than bigger channels as well. In any case, thanks for hanging out with me again. And again, go for a ride. That's the only thing I can do right now. Because, yeah, that's all I got. So, I'm doing an 11 loop, and all of a sudden, my trail is obstructed by, look at that beauty thing. Gotta love nature. Gotta love it. I just went across a little spillway here. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to Colorado. Whoa. Wow.